What is your favorite Austrian painter? No way you asked this. Oh my god, how should I answer that? Hi and welcome back. And in this video, I, a German, will answer the most outrageous questions that you can ask a German. But not only that, but also we will discover a little bit about me, because this is also a thank you for all of you to hit the 54 subscribers. Thank you again so much for all of that support. And yeah, our next goal should be clear. Get the silver play button. So the best thing you can do before we start is to hit a like and a subscribe, that we will get the silver play button. Thank you so much for that. Also, you can check out my Patreon. And now let's go. What is your favorite Austrian painter? No way you asked this. And I think we all know him. It's the famous Adolf Hölzel. No, to be honest, I don't know anything about art or about paintings. Yeah, so I don't know anything. Maybe there are some great Austrian painters, probably there are, but I have no clue. But I totally get where this question is going to. Okay, another great question from Empire State Building. Which country would you like to visit the most? I have to say that is actually a good question. There's, my goal is to visit every country in the world at least once. So I could just say every country. But of course, for example, the US is a very, very nice country to travel to because it's so diverse with geography, also with people. You get, I think, in probably no other country, so many people from different cultures. So that would be also a number one. And if it's just about geography, then I would definitely say something like Fiji or in Oceania, because first of all, it's like the other point of the world from me, from Europe, like New Zealand and everything like that. And, you have beaches that are just sand beaches, so blue water. So I would absolutely love to travel there as well. But as I said, there are so many great countries that I all have to invade soon. Next question, Trump or Harris? I'm not that dumb to start here a blood war in my comments, because as soon as I say here an answer, the other side will say, oh my god, how can you do that? So yeah, I think you do your politics your way, and let's see who wins. I think in November it is, right? But I think it's a good thing that Biden stepped down, because he was clearly too old. Here's another great one from Box King. Do you study art at Vienna? And therefore I have to say, yes, I study now my master's in Vienna, but it's not art. I'm not an artist, as I already said in an earlier question. No, I'm studying quantitative finance, so very much mathematical. That was also my bachelor, so very German, right? We calculate all of this stuff because we need to know it exactly. Yeah, so that is my thing. I always loved numbers. I always was very good, like calculating with numbers, stuff like that. So that is what I study right now, or start to study right now. Oh yeah, here we have a question that is not an appropriate question, but as I said, I wanted to sprinkle in always also just questions that I get all the time. And this question is, have you ever been to the US? Have you some family in the US? Or do you want to go to the US? And yes, no, yes. So no, I have never been to the US in my life. I have never been like out of Eurasia, so I was only in Europe and Asia. And no, I have no family, or I'm not like somehow related to the US in any case. Also, by the way, for every Polish viewer, I'm not at any case related to Poland, although my grandfather was born in today's Poland, but he was German at that point. There happened something like a war or something. But I definitely want to visit. Yes, I don't know when, because it's a transatlantic flight, so it's not like, hey, let's go for a weekend or something like that. So it would be a proper travel, and also the US is pretty expensive, so you don't want to go like 15 times there, but maybe make like one time East Coast, one time West Coast, one time the middle, something like that. So it quite needs some time. Maybe next year, but maybe also to the World Cup that is in 2026. Do you want all Jews dead? Wow, of course I want. I mean, they are not the Aryan race, right? No. Actually, let me put this into a better question. do we even have many Jews in Germany? And surprisingly, no, I have never met a Jew in my life. To be honest, I don't know anybody or know that anybody knows somebody that is a Jew. So if you want to say it very hard, Hitler did a pretty good job. But no, I think also many Jews fled then to Israel, of course, to their country that they then had. Yeah. So another question I got so often is like, which cities should I go to Germany? I want to go there. Or where are you from? So first of all, where I'm from is the town I was born, I guess, right? Because I'm not living there anymore. And that is an actual very, very important town in history. That is Coburg. That is next to Bamberg. There's also a US base. So maybe some of you say, wait, I was there. I got quite some messages that told me, hey, I was in Bamberg. And I was like, oh yeah, I noticed. That's 40 kilometers from me, around 20, 25 miles. And actually, the Queen Victoria's husband was from there, and I think even another time somebody married in the royal family of Britain, and also something like Martin Luther, not the king, the other one, the earlier one, hide there from the Catholic Church. Hitler was quite often there because it was an NSDAP, like very high town. They were very on court with Nazis. And it has also very many castles and stuff like this, so it's definitely worth a visit. It's in the north of Bavaria. Fun fact, I don't know if it's an urban legend or not, but they just had an election like in the beginning of the 20th century if they want to be at Bavaria or at Thüringen, and they said Bavaria. Hey, this is Chris from the Edit, and the story about Coburg staying in Bavaria gets even better, because the reason why they stayed in Bavaria was they had this vote and they stayed because the bread was cheaper when they stayed in Bavaria for like logistical reasons or something like that. That's actually insane because, you know, Germans and their bread, it's a thing. And you see how important it is for us that we say, oh my God, our bread gets more expensive. We can't do that. We have to go back to Bavaria. And yeah, that's actually funny. Now back to the video. And just because of that, they didn't come into the GDR. So otherwise, my parents would have been for 40 years in this, under control of the Soviet Union. Some cool fun facts maybe for you. I also got quite many food-related questions. One of them was, do Germans really eat sausage and sauerkraut every day? I mean, yes, we eat quite a lot of sausage, or it's just meat in general. For example, salami. I literally eat right now salami every day because I'm just lazy and have always my bread rolls with salami. But I hate sauerkraut. And many Germans like it. I don't get it. But it's not something that we eat like every day. Maybe on a Sundays or something like that. Although, for example, again in Coburg, it's the second best bratwurst, so sausage on a grill, that you can have in Germany. So yeah, there it's a pretty common food, but it's not every day. And another question that I got in this direction is, do you drink beer every day? And now I have to spoil something. I have never drunk in my entire life a German beer. Never. I drank once an Irish beer. I have never drunken, I don't know, a German beer in my life. I'm not kidding. I'm a German, yes, I have a German passport, but I have never drunken a German beer in my life. Never. Yes. Why? You probably ask. I, in general, don't drink much alcohol. I have maybe 10, 20 times in my life. And if I drink alcohol, then mostly stuff that tastes good. And beer is not, for me, one of the tastier things on the alcoholic side. So no, I have never drunken a German beer, but I know, of course, from the smell how it tastes. Okay, yeah, I had to laugh quite hard that I even had to joke. Are all Germans born knowing how to follow orders, or is it just taught in school? That's a great question, but to be honest, we Germans aren't actually stillgestanden. Jawohl, mein Führer! No. There is something weird about Germans that they actually really like rules. For example, you know, when you can be loud, when you can be not loud, how to separate ways, and all of that stuff. And I don't know, Germans are somehow that is their way of controlling society, you know, to know I do my stuff, but everybody else has to do as well, and then we can live, you know, peacefully together. And it's their form of control somehow. And the problem with that is that, you know, you also need to verify everything. So you would need for everything a certificate and this and this and this, and the bureaucracy is outrageous. If you think your American bureaucracy is sometimes hard, just pray that you're not in Germany, because that is like 10 times more hard, I guess. I have never done something for US bureaucracy, but German bureaucracy is really hard. So yeah, actually Germans like to follow rules, and they really don't like if somebody else doesn't do it. And actually, they're also pretty weird sometimes if there are no rules. They're then like, what should I do now? I need to have some rules. Yeah, Germans are sometimes weird. Do you really not have air conditioning? Another great question. No, I don't. But because I'm literally cooking here right now in Vienna, I am now thinking about getting an air conditioner. But you know, if it's not a shop or something in like a normal home, you normally really never have air conditioning in not only Germany but also in whole of Europe. I don't know if it's maybe different in Spain and Italy, because they have, of course, you know, even higher temperatures. But yeah, not in Germany. And one of the most questions I got is, are your grandpas or are your grandparents Nazis actually? Or what did your grandparents do in your 40s? And if you want, I can ask my grandpa. He doesn't understand the internet or YouTube or all of this thing, but I could ask him to tell his story. Of course, in German, you know, I would give you subtitles, but he has quite much to tell. But just to explain to you, my grandparents are mostly all childs when this happened. They have all very great stories to tell, but they were all not really into something. The thing is, for my grandpa, he, of course, then when Germany lost and lost more, needed to come from Prussia, or Schlesien, Silesia, back to not back. He was never in Bavaria, but down to Bavaria, and yeah, lived then there. And of course, they had earlier, his father was like a big thing. They had like a castle on something. Yes, you have randomly castles in Germany and Poland. That is a thing. But yeah, and then of course they lost everything because of that. And that was when he was 4. Also, his bigger brother died in Stalingrad when he was, I think, 18 or 21, something like that. But that is the only one from my really near family that I know that fought. I think I had also some, like, uncle of a great-great-great-great-grandfather or something that was a general even in German army. And yeah, I think that's it. But from the other side, I know also a story from my other side's grandma. She was like so scared from the Americans that were coming, but then actually they gave them chocolate and they were pretty nice. And of course, they couldn't understand them really because, you know, German children learn German because it's the only language. Yeah, right? And not American, not English. But yeah, they were pretty nice. And there are so much more stories. For example, my other grandma again was, you know, there was one bomb falling onto Coburg, and the town where she lived, where I was born. And it was in her room. You know, the only bomb in whole Coburg was in her room. But the good thing was that she wasn't there at that point of time. She was at her grandma. You know, always go to your grandma, kids. Yeah, and that is why I live today. And in general, without this war, I wouldn't live now because my grandpa wouldn't go to Bavaria, south though, and then not suddenly meet somehow when my grandma is on vacation, meet my grandma, and then my father would never, you know, get born, and me, I would never get born. So yeah, I mean, that is crazy, right? How weird history sometimes is. So now is your turn. Tell me which videos do you want from me next time, because I'm thinking, for example, like my biggest misconceptions that I had about the US, or the biggest lies that I was told, or so many different things. Tell me what you would like from me, and tell me other questions. Maybe if this video here comes or serves you well and it's very nice like, then maybe we do another thing with other questions. I would love it. So tell me all of this in the comments, and of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. and we see each other in the next video. Bye. Oh, finally, I can get the ventilation or the fan. It's a fan in English. It's in German a Ventilator on again. Whew.